Here at Fortius, and this area here is the hydrotherapy treatment area where Jay Demerit actually had his treatment for his Achilles injury. Coming up next, Jody, we are going to be taking a look at some of the other treatments that they have here at Fortius and how you at home could possibly have access to these world-class treatments. That's all coming up next on Breakfast Television. Exactly, and we're going to talk about the hydrotherapy portion of it a little bit later, coming up just after 7 o'clock. But we are here at Fortius, here in Burnaby, where really, Randy, it's about a progression of improving the state of your body so you can get back to working order, right?
Right, so you start with world-class sport medicine physicians, and then having a team of experts that anyone can access, whether it's physio, massage, chiro, and dietitians, sports psychology,
and
all that.
And what are we seeing right now?
So this is actually a shuttle, and Molly's pushing with her leg, trying to start to get some strength out of that knee as she's recovering from an injury. So now you take it from just doing squats to being able to start doing a jump without full body weight. So it helps her transition into becoming functional again in a sport or just being able to go up and down stairs.
And now what are we seeing over here on the table? Thanks, Molly.
So Steph, part of this as well is doing hands-on stuff, making sure that trigger point work, working on a muscle on the side of his leg, and trying to release it so that then we get more range of motion out of it, and then we start to be able to progress him back into activity. But right now he actually can't do a whole lot of running or anything like that.
And then we've got our final area right now in this particular section.
So now what we've done is taken her away from the non-weight bearing jumping to start working on functional transition, band around her legs to make sure her legs stay in alignment and she's firing the right muscles, and now forcing her to stabilize in a position and rotate. And then she'll do the same thing on the other side, stabilize her legs and her core and rotate. So we're doing multiple movements each time it happens.
In this area, and there's multiple treatments and multiple services here at Fortius as well. And Jody, by the way, not just accessible by athletes and elite athletes, there actually is access for anybody that wants more information on Fortius and the many services that they offer here. You can go to their website. We're going to take a look at the hydrotherapy coming up at the 7 o'clock hour. And you know, one of the key elements to Jay Demerit's recovery of his injury of his Achilles was hydrotherapy. So coming up next, we're going to find out how that actually helped again in his recovery and how perhaps it could assist you in yours. That's all coming up next on Breakfast Television. Yeah, we were here, by the way, at Fortius, and right now we are seeing Jermaine, who has made his way into the hydrotherapy pool. And Randy, of course, the reason this is all coming forefront is because Jay Demerit was actually doing this as part of his treatment, right?
Right. So what this is it's called the HydroWorks 2000. It's a $200,000 treadmill, which was it's part of the whole community assets of this building. And Jay, what the pool does is it's a treadmill that we can raise and lower, and it allows us to do non-weight bearing training. So if you have an Achilles injury or a shin, like Jermaine, a shin splint injury, we can still keep you training and running. And it could be as simple as having osteoarthritis and early out of a knee replacement something, is get people in here and get them doing exercise before they actually can weight bear on the joint.
Now, for you with a background in sports therapy, or sports physio, right?
Yeah.
It must be pretty exciting for you to be able to bring this to the general public as well. And again, let's maybe talk about where Jermaine is working with specifically here.
Yeah, so he's on the treadmill right now. What he's doing is doing side shuffles and karaoke. So he's starting to do some agility work in the pool, and by being in the water, we actually take a lot of his body weight away. So we're not putting compression through the joints. And so the neat thing about this is taking the science of sport medicine and actually being able to apply it to the general public. So while Jermaine's an athlete and we're actually training him right now, he's running against a jet to actually give him some physical fitness, we can take someone who is just coming out of hip surgery and actually get them in the water and start walking really early, so it speeds up the process. Fantastic.
Well, if you want more information on all the services, and they do offer a lot of services here at Fortius, you can go to their website. But Jody, I think it's fascinating that, again, the general public has access to the same quality of treatment that some of our most elite athletes do, including the likes of Jay Demerit. We've got lots more coming up on Breakfast Television here from Fortius. Yeah, thank you very much. And earlier we were talking a little bit about how some of our most elite athletes have recovered from injury, but what about preventing injury in the first place? It's all about setting up the perfect programming and having the perfect test as well. That's all coming up next on Breakfast Television, live from Fortius.
Fascinating.
It truly is, and you know, we've been really focused on the downstairs area here at Fortius, where we've talked about how some of the elite athletes have recovered after some of their injuries, Ling, but now we're in an area that's accessible to the general public, right?
Right. So the idea of Fortius Fitness is that we want to help everybody discover their inner athlete. So no matter what your fitness level is, we want to maximize your abilities, but we want to do that safely.
So you do that with some testing, and right now we've got some testing that's happening right now, right?
Exactly. So that's part of our basic screen. It's a movement screen. So for example, Kim there, if she has issues reaching up over her head and squatting down, when it comes down to developing her program, we wouldn't put an overhead squat in her program.
Right.
We wouldn't want her doing an Olympic lift. We'd want to take the necessary steps to build her strength up and her mobility up in order for her to do that safely.
Well, let's bring her to another element of the test right now. Clearly, this is just a snippet of the kinds of things you do.
Exactly.
What's this portion here?
So this is part of our comprehensive screen, so something a little bit more in depth. It's a wide balance test, and you can see her go ahead and try it here. So we're going to see a little bit more of a dynamic thing going on here. So it's about range of motion, it's about strength, it's about motor control, but more so, we want to check to make sure that she doesn't have any asymmetries between her right side and the left side.
And what if she does? How do you have to adjust the program?
So when there are asymmetries there, we're going to have to look out for anything that's single-sided. We want to make sure that we balance out those asymmetries before we load her in those settings.
And it's all about preventing injury. It's one thing to actually have to rehabilitate an injury, but it's always better to actually prevent the injury in the first place. General public can definitely work out here and have access to all the services that many of the elite athletes have. Michelle, for more details, you can go to their website. We've got lots more coming up here from Fortius on Breakfast Television. And Randy, this is really, the model of this is after something quite successful, the Olympics.
Yeah, there were quite a few of the practitioners here that were involved in the Olympics, and I was lucky enough to run the therapy in the village. And the whole idea is to get world-class practitioners from multiple disciplines, physicians, physio, massage, chiro, biomechanists, exercise physiologists, put them all together and they start collaborating. It got so exciting, we were actually having to tell people to go home because they were learning and interacting and collaborating and stuff.
And what's great is that people have the ability to utilize this facility the same as any, we talk about the elite athletes. Jay Demerit did his rehabilitation here in the hydrotherapy. You've got even full gyms and a gymnasium.
Yeah,
hello, full size.
It's full size, NBA size courts, and again, it's designed as a community asset for people to be able to come and be under the same roof as those elite athletes and get the same services, but anyone can access it.
Fantastic. Well, again, amongst those services, including sports psychology and again, all the physio, all that kind of stuff, we've also got nutrition, and we are going to talk about that coming up next, Jody, just after 8:30 live from Fortius. That's right, here in Burnaby at Fortius, where we have talked about sports psychology, hydrotherapy, any kind of rehab, including setting up your own fitness programs. Coming up next, we are talking sports nutrition before, during, and after workout, and a very easy sports drink you can make today, live on Breakfast Television. Yeah, and it's all very collaborative here at Fortius, Jody, out in Burnaby, where we have talked about everything from, again, sports therapy, any kind of hydrotherapy. Of course, this tied in greatly to where Jay Demerit did his therapy for his Achilles. And we are now also talking about the fact that nutrition is a big part of that, and that's part of them setting up a program, right, Ashley?
Yeah, that's right, Dawn. So if you come in for a program here at Fortius, it's not just that you're going to be doing fitness or that you're just going to be doing your rehab, but you're also going to be doing, working with any of the practitioners that we see fit, so to provide the best outcome.
And this is a lot of the same information that the elite athletes like Jay Demerit or perhaps a hockey player or football player might be getting. So people at home have access to this information as well. What do we need to be eating before our workout?
Before a workout, you want to make sure that you focus on carbohydrates. That is our body's primary source of fuel. So ideally, you want to have something 3 to 4 hours before, a meal that's high in carbs, moderate amount of protein, and that's relatively low in fat. So a quick rule of thumb for that, think of the plate. The plate rule, represent half of that plate by vegetables or fruit, a quarter by some kind of whole grains, a quarter by lean protein or a dairy alternative. That'd be an ideal snack or meal. And then 1 to 2 hours before, you also want to top off those energy stores. So again, something that's really high in carbs, really low in protein. So let's
talk about during a workout.
Sure.
We've talked about an easy sports drink. There are lots of commercial products, seem like they probably have a lot of sugar, and you've got 3 basic ingredients that make up our sports drink, right?
Yeah, that's right. right. So instead of Gatorade, you can actually really simply make one at home by having a bottle of, a liter water bottle, fill that half up with 100% fruit juice, half water, and then you just need about 1/3 of a teaspoon of salt. And so that's going to provide you, the juice is going to provide you with the carbs that you need while you're starting to feel fatigued if you're going to be exercising longer than 60 to 90 minutes. It's also going to provide you potassium, as well as sodium from the salt to replenish any electrolytes that you lose through sweat.
Some great information. We didn't get the after the workout, but you know what? All that information is available here at Fortius if you want any personal consulting for them to set up a program. And again, Jody, Michelle, all of the things that elite athletes have typically only had access to, you at home could have access to as well. You can go to the website for more details. Thanks so much, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm surprised you didn't say anything about Ryan Lochte's secret, the old Skittles and Mountain Dew thing.